Morning.
Morning.
I think I owe y'all an apology because last week I was supposed to do the class last week, but tell you I didn't hear about the time change. I think I heard one little thing about it, but it didn't say what they would go up at that time, and I was riding around trying to make up my mind about trying to get me another vehicle. But anyway, when I got back home, I was tired and I was wore out, and when I got up that morning, I thought I was early. Till I turned around the corner right then, I seen all the cars in the parking lot. I said, oh man, no. But anyway, I want to tell y'all I'm sorry about that. But sometimes things like that happens. And this morning, we're not gonna be in the lesson book. I prepared something else. Brother William be doing such a good job in that till and I learned so much when he be doing the class and stuff like that till let him deal with that. But we're going to be in the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter. Matthew, the 10th chapter. But before we go there, just back up a little bit to it'll be in the 9th chapter. And I just was looking at some things there in that 9th chapter till we get back up to the 10th chapter. When Jesus healed the man of the palsy by saying, thy sins be forgiven thee, the scribe the scribes say he was blaspheming. Blasphemy means that the expression of contempt or irreverence for God or anything sacred, claiming the attributes of God. This is what they said about Jesus when he healed the man of the palsy. The woman with the issue of blood, 12 years, came behind him and touched the hem of his garment and was made whole from that hour. Who back then was doing anything like Jesus was doing? Before this, the man that there was a certain ruler. This certain ruler was Jairus. His daughter lay at home sick and was at the point of death. As a matter of fact, she died. And when Jesus came in and they were making all this noise and everything, mourning that the child was dead, and Jesus said, she's not dead, she's just sleeping. What did they do? They allowed Jesus to scorn. Scorn for me to make mockery, ridicule, have contempt. This is what they did to Jesus. But he said in Psalms 1:1, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. They might not understand how Jesus did it, but he was doing it. Not only that, two blind men followed him and cried to him and say, thou son of David, have mercy on us. I'm just paraphrasing all of this here right now till we get back up to the 10th chapter. Have mercy on us, Jesus. And one thing that I always, when I read that, they say these two blind men, they followed Jesus. They ain't said nobody led them by the hand. Somebody helped them. They said these two blind men followed Jesus. And when they came there, they said that he said, do you believe that I am able to do this? And they said, yea, Lord. And he said, by your faith, be it unto you. But he charged them, said, now don't go tell nobody. Now this one right here, I'm kind of stuck in the middle because if I was blind, if these scales fall off my eye, this cut right. Oh man, I'm gonna tell you. If this thing will fall off my eye right now, boy, I tell everybody, God done heal my eyes, but I know it don't work like that. Not now. I gotta go to the doctor.
Yes, sir.
But yes, sir, I think, Lord, I'd have said, Lord, forgive me, but I gotta tell somebody. He said, don't tell nobody. And then we see what Jesus, he healed the dumb man that was possessed with the devil. And what did they say? They say he do this by the prince of the devil. They called Jesus Beelzebub. So you doing this by the prince of the devil. You ain't doing this by God. You doing this some kind of underhanded way. Brother Thomas, read for me in that 9th chapter, the last 3 verses, 35 through 38, in the 9th chapter of Matthew.
Verses 35
through 38.
And Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues, and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Then said he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenty, but the labors are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth laborers into his vineyard, into his harvest.
Jesus went about, even though they ridiculed him and mocked him and tried to put him down and everything, Jesus still went about doing good.
Amen.
Healing every sickness, and every sickness and every disease. Jesus didn't Jesus didn't miss on nothing. And I think he was doing this to show his disciples that no matter how much good you do, you're still gonna have your accusers and all of this. And so I just wanna, and I had a hard time with this about what I would call this lesson, but I'm gonna still stick with what I started with and just say, there is a storm coming. The storm is coming. But Jesus, when he chose and told his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Then Jesus called the 12 and started preparing them or getting them ready to go out into the harvest. Brother William, in Matthew, we're gonna do the whole chapter of Matthew, the 10th chapter. Brother William, read for me Matthew's 1 through 5, 10, 1 through 5.
And when he called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now the name of the 12 apostles are these: first Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the publican, James the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname is Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
Now, how many did Jesus call? He called 12 at this point. And while we're here, so I know this might probably come up. He chose these 12, and then you had 2 more. When Judas failed, he chose Matthias. Now, God chose Matthias, even though they came up with it and they gathered together, but they prayed and said, Thou Lord, whether these 2 men, Matthias and the other man was named, you see Brother Jackson? See Brother Jackson? Sometimes when you have it on your tongue, then it just leaves, just like that. Justice, yes. And they said, whether these 2, who will you choose? And the lot fell to Matthias. And the other one was Paul. Paul said that he was an apostle. God chose Paul to be an apostle. Christ. Now if it's any more, I haven't found him. Not in this book here. Brother KJ, read for me. Let me see, I think we got, make sure we got the notes and stuff all together so that KJ, read for me Mark 3, 13 through 21. Three, 13 through 21.
He goeth up into a mountain, and called unto him whom he would, and they came unto him. He ordained 12 that they should be with him, and he might send them forth to preach, and to have power to heal sicknesses and cast out devils. And Simon he surnamed Peter, and James the son of Zebedee, and John the brother of James, he surnamed them.
The brother of Jesus.
Yeah. which is the son of thunder, and Andrew, and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew, and Thomas, and James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, and Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, which also betrayed him, and they went into an house. And the multitude come together again, so that they could not so much as eat bread. And when his friends heard of it, they went out to lay hold on him, for they said, he is beside himself.
Now, I know we just read about how many he chose and we read it again. But you know why we keep having it to read that? I'm trying to find the names of these other apostles. Now this the one that he's supposed to be a Crenshaw Christensen, and I think he passed. I can't call his name now. And they say he passed from coronavirus. But he said he was an apostle. I didn't hear Fred Price. I ain't read Fred Price yet. Sister Williams said that one of her aunts, cousin or something like that, said that she's an apostle. I didn't read. Well, he didn't say nothing about she as an apostle. I've read none of that. And not only that, when in that 21st verse, it says, when his friends heard of it, they went out to lay hold on him, for they said he is beside himself. Now Jesus chose these 12 to be with him so that he could get them prepared to go out into the world and everything, to show them, hey man, this ain't nothing, it ain't nothing to play with. He was preparing them. And they said that Jesus was beside himself. And not only that, they said they wanted to go lay hands on Jesus. Now, when I read where they say that in the Bible, when somebody say that they finna lay hands on them, they mean you home. And not only that, they said that Jesus got the notes all mixed up. I thought I had them in order. But anyway, me, when I hear that you being beside yourself, I had the definition. I don't see where I put it. And but anyway, my definition of being beside yourself, since I can't find it right now, it's like saying, who do he think he is?
Amen. Amen.
Who do Jesus think he is? Now these is friends that's talking about it. They said Jesus done, hey, Jesus, you done kind of lost your mind, Jesus. You beside yourself. But he chose 12 at this point for them to go out and do this work. And here in verse number 5, he told them, he say, these 12. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into the city of the Samaritans. Enter ye not. Now, let me make sure I got these notes right. In 2 Kings 17, 24 through 31. Jesus told them, and I always wondered, why did Jesus tell them not to go into the city of the Samaritans? In 2 Kings 17, 24 through 31, it says, And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Brother Daniel, I'm gonna let you struggle with these here names. Brother Daniel, get from me 2 Kings 17, 24 through 31.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Abel, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. For they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, The nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he has sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, Carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the God of the land. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Lord. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Succoth, Benoth, and the men of Cutha made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nibaz and Tartak, and the Sepharvites burnt their children in fire to Adramelech and Amorelech, the gods of Sepharvaim.
But these, we have to read the whole chapter there. But they were, the king of Assyria, he conquered the city of Jerusalem, city of Samaria, Judah, because they were doing wrong. God punished them, and they came in, but instead of him putting the king of Assyria put Israel into this place, he brought all these other nations and put them into this place. And these people were serving other gods. All of these here names of these here gods that I can't pronounce. All of these here names here, the Amdramelech. This was actually the name of a person, but it also was the name of a pagan god. Tartak, that's a pagan god. Nibaz, that's a pagan god. And Shema, that's a pagan god. Nirjal, that's a pagan god. They were serving these pagan god, even the ones that they had went so far to they made their children walk in the fire. The Sepharvites. They burnt their children in the fire. Man, these people were crazy.
Yes.
They didn't serve God. And God sent lions among them. And not only that, he told the children of Israel, do not take their daughters to your sons, nor your sons to your daughters to wife. And what did they do? They married them anyway.
Yes.
And now you just like I say, you have to read the whole chapter. And part of Nehemiah, I think Nehemiah the 9th chapter. Down on at the end towards the Nehemiah, the book in Nehemiah. And they was taking these people, these other nations, and this wasn't about no skin color. God didn't never separate man by no skin color. He separated them by language. So people going around here talking about something, you just cause your skin might be light and all of this and this, and you say you Caucasian or whatever. God ain't never separated us by no skin color. But anyway, they were marrying these people that were serving other gods. And God said, don't do it. Even they mentioned about Solomon, how the strange women took Solomon away and he started serving other gods. And Solomon was one of the greatest kings ever. But he started messing with all of these strange women. Amen. And they changed his heart. And God told him, don't do it. In verse number 6, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. See this part right now today, see that freely ye have received and freely give. No, that not today. But see, ain't no apostles of the day. Ain't no prophets of the day. But this is the part, if they could do it, they would charge you to the hill. They would get all the money that they could from you. They doing it and they can't do it. They ain't lying to people and getting their money and stuff like that and living in the lap of luxury. And if you look at some of these men today, and I just look at them sometimes, how much they done aged and can't see. And really can't see that the storm is coming. And when you die, and you step into eternity, you're going to be in a storm that you can't do nothing about it. The time is now to change it. Acts the third chapter 1 through 10, it said, now Peter and John went up together into the temple at the hour of prayer, being the 9th hour. And a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple, who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asked them on. And Peter, fastening his eyes upon him with John, said, "Look on us." And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them. Then Peter said, "Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, arise up and walk." And he took him by the right hand and lifted him up, and immediately his feet and ankles bone received strength. And he leaping up stood and walked and entered with them into the temple, walking and leaping and praising God. And all the people saw him walking and praising God, and they knew that it was he which sat and they knew that it was he which sat for alms at the beautiful gate of the temple, and were filled with wonder and amazement at that which had happened unto him. See, this was a real thing. This wasn't no sleight of hands. This wasn't no prop where they sit up and try to make like they doing stuff and done paid people probably to come out there and act like they heal and stuff like that. This was the real thing. This is what God gave to the apostles. You go out, you heal the sick, you raise the dead, you preach the kingdom of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Preach the kingdom, preach the gospel. These people not preaching, a lot of people not preaching the gospel. Because if you preach the gospel, you're in a storm. It's coming. If you preach the gospel, storm coming. I'm going to end right here. We'll pick up from this point on next Lord's Day.